Okay, we're going to come into yogi squat. So this next sequence is called continuity sequence. I'm going to take you through just bits and pieces of it. We're going to move through circle wheels, so a few asymmetrical back bends before we close off the entire series with some symmetrical back bends. So asymmetrical back bend in the awakening yoga methodology is circle wheel or half circle wheel. If you do have any type of shoulder injury, please either do a half circle wheel and see how your body feels, or avoid the exercise and stick with the symmetrical back bends at the end of this class. Just going side to side a little bit to wake up the hips, to make sure your hips are woken up. It's not like we've done a lot of work already. This is also a really good exercise in just proprioception and coordination, understanding your body and space, managing the transfer of weight forward and back, managing the movement of your shoulders. So a half circle wheel, I'll just demonstrate over to one side here. You're going to take the right hand to the back of your mat, press your hips up as you reach your top arm overhead, and then shift the weight forward again as you come back into your yogi squat. Once again, I'll show on the right side. Just taking your right hand to the back of your mat, feeling that transfer of weight, lifting your hips, and then lowering your hips, coming down into yogi squat. So let's begin. 3 on the right, 3 on the left. If you want to do the full circle wheel, I'll do the first one with you. Taking the right hand down. Oops. Left hand down. And then coming through your yogi squat. So go ahead and do 3 on the right. Last one. Feel your body in space. Manage your weight. There's also an exercise to show you how much your legs are working in those back bends. Switching it over to the left. The left side might be a little bit different to the right side. You might only stick with half a circle wheel, or you're going into your full circle wheel. First time I did this, it was in Bali. And it was extremely hard. Last one. And then holding yogi squat, because your hips are just on fire right now. And that's never a bad thing. Awesome. Coming down onto your back. And so now we move into our symmetrical back bends. These are the ones that we practice most commonly in our yoga classes. Starting with a little bridge, placing the feet, lifting the pelvis. Make this a little bit spicier for yourself by guiding your right knee towards your chest, pointing your toes, and lifting the toes up to the ceiling. We have about 3 back bends here. An activation in the left hamstring by trying to draw your left heel towards your glute. So finding the activation of both the glute and the hamstring. Right, releasing your right foot, bringing your hips down. One more breath. Slight posterior tilt, lifting your hips up. Feel the lower abdominals work to pull the pelvis into that tilt. Left knee comes to your chest. Keep fighting to press your tailbone towards the back of the right calf. Point your toes and extend. You'll see a lot of us, we like to just bend the knee a little bit, but fight the fight to keep that leg straight. You're not here for very long. Try to pull your right heel towards your glute. Lift your hips. Find an unwavering gaze even though you might have some noise, some background noise, kids, family members, laundry, dishes. Find your focus. And release. A couple of breaths when you arrive. And we save the best for last, right? Urdhva Dhanurasana. Or stick with your little bridge variation. Placing your hands when you're ready. The lower back feels a little crunchy. Walk your feet closer to the top of the mat. Just create some more space. And slowly release. And after a back bend like that, you just want to come down into stillness. And just enjoy the tangible sensations. Finding gratitude for the ability to move your body. Gratitude for this breath. Gratitude for this heartbeat in your chest. Gratitude for your body, your healthy mind. And just drop the knees from side to side here. If you have lingering sensation in the quadriceps from all the work we've done. And just curl over to the right side of your body, using the support of your left hand to push yourself up to seated. I just have to make sure I'm still recording, which I am, which is great. All right, taking your right foot to your left inner thigh. Coming down into a forward fold, try to aim the sternum towards the ankle. I'm not going to hold these poses for too long. If you have an extra little bit of time on your mat today, make sure you put a stopwatch on and hold this for at least a minute, maybe even 2 minutes. Take the right hand to the back of the mat, pressing the pelvis up as you reach through the side of your body. Any variation that feels really good. Coming back down to sit, switching sides. As you begin to close off your practice, it's really important to acknowledge this time that you've taken to spend on your mat. This ritual of movement, this practice of mindfulness, with a deep desire to cultivate more awareness physically, mentally, and emotionally. Take the left hand to the back of the mat. Coming back down to seated. Crossing your right calf in front of your left shin. So your heels line up with your knees, sitting up tall, and then inching the hands forward. You can come down a little bit or you can come down a lot. You decide what is more appropriate for you here. You should feel this into the right outer hip. It's easy to spiral into a dark hole of judgment and criticism of ourselves. I wish I was more positive. I wish I was more energetic. I wish I could move like she is moving. I wish my breath would feel a little easier right now. I wish my mind would quiet down. And we just add a layer of suffering onto our experience through self-criticism. Always wishing, hoping for something else instead of embracing where we are in this journey. sitting up, switching sides. So I encourage you to, as we close this practice together, to take a hard look at how you're showing up right now. Compare it to when you first stepped onto your mat, how you felt, how you have been feeling. And how can you make this journey, this process, a little bit easier on yourself? How can you shift up or change up the narrative to create a more nourishing, more nurturing environment for yourself and for those who are around you? And it starts by acknowledging yourself. It starts with gratitude. Going up to seated, laying down onto your back. Hugging both thighs to your belly for a moment. Halasana, unless you have any type of injury in your neck, then please just extend your legs up, even extending the arms up. Very simple restorative pose to close the class. If you want a little bit more for the lower back, especially after the back bending, you can go ahead and lift your hips up. All of the weight is in my lower part of my shoulders. I'm just going to start to aim the feet towards the back of my mat. Extremely mindful here that I'm not putting any of the weight whatsoever into my neck. Acknowledging yourself as a practice. It's like a muscle. The more you do it, the better you get at it. The more available it becomes to you. So acknowledge yourself for showing up today. Acknowledge yourself for how far you've come in your journey. Practice gratitude. Gratitude for yourself, your blessings, your abilities, your talents, your gifts. The impact you've had on your community, on your family. Hug your knees to your belly one last time. Gratitude for this practice of awareness and mindfulness. Take it down into Savasana. And I know you're not in the studio. I'm not standing right next to you, making sure you're finding 1 or 2 minutes of stillness to close this practice. So do this for yourself. You can do this even if there is a lot of background noise. You can still find stillness. A moment to pause. A moment to truly check in. And check in with the intention to nurture, to nourish, to heal. Please take as much time in this moment as you need. I acknowledge you for your work. I thank you for your support. Namaste.